I'm sorry, bro. I just can't see nobody wear no Nike socks with a pair of shoes, bro. Like, what are you doing? I think that's crazy.
What you wear the socks with then? What you wear them with then?
Hey, what's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy KiteZz here. My lovely wife is just Alex.
What's up, peoples?
Hey, today we got a video by Kameron. You know, we like him on the channel. He does a lot of good work. So we thought we'd gonna tune in real quick and, you know, just check out what he put a video out called Not Everyone Needs a Podcast.
Yeah.
Now, one thing we say a lot on this channel is like, there's a lot of like oversaturation of podcasts. Like everybody talks about the same talking point now. Everybody kind of does the same thing. And, you know, a lot of people rebuttal back to like, well, you guys have a podcast. It's very true. But I feel like the direction of our podcast is going a little differently because it's not about us spewing like some men versus women rhetoric or women versus men rhetoric or talking about being a rich billionaire philanthropist. It's more like
just chilling on YouTube.
Yeah, everybody just talking about videos that they watched all together. But you know, I digress. But Kameron had a good talking point on it, so let's see how he feels about the podcast situation. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Look, I'm gonna be the one to say it. Just because you have one good conversation with your homies, that does not mean that you need to start a podcast. I'm tired of dudes talking about aliens once, then thinking that they have the right to buy a Shure SM7B from Best Buy. Now they got a podcast called Alien Talks that's just uninteresting and dry. The host sucks, the friends suck, and even the podcast name sucks. You're not the next Joe Rogan, bro. Put the mic down and put the fries in the bag. Someone's...
Dang. he coming out swinging, huh? I mean, it's the same energy you can have towards the podcasts that are kind of coming out now, where it's like Pop the Balloon has created like a plethora of podcasts now about dating advice and how to handle relationships. But then it's like you went on Pop the Balloon and failed the relationship in 2 weeks, but now you're giving relationship advice.
Yeah, that's typical. No, that's typically how it works. Like that's just blind. That's just blind marketing. Like that,
blind leading the blind.
It works because there's people that will think that you're saying something so like obscure, like so sophisticated, and all this other kind of stuff, and then there's people like he's just chatting. He's just saying everyday regular stuff. Like,
right.
But you know, some people will subscribe to that.
Gotta say it. Remember that one relative that told you that you weren't making it to the NBA when you were like 5 years old? Just think of me as that. Hey, everyone needs a little bit of tough love in their life. Not everyone can be nice in this world. And I'm gonna be the boogeyman here saying how your podcast sucks and your friends are boring. Maybe you should think twice before you take that trip to Best Buy. See, the problem is that this world is way too nice now. And now we have podcast clips of dudes talking about how they want their mothers to have good sexual experiences.
Because I love my mom. I want her to come. I don't know if this is weird to say, but I want my mom to have flawless experiences.
How do you not know?
What are we talking about? Y'all one of them. Yeah.
Bro, and you know the sad part, there be millions of people that tune into stuff like that and be like, yeah, man, I agree.
Something wrong with
you, bro.
Know if that's weird to say, like, oh my gosh, I want my mom to have great sexual experience. That is weird.
I want you to have that,
yeah, and I want you to have that as well.
So it's like, is that weird to say? Like, I genuinely want my mom to be getting down good.
I'm gonna give you some tough love right here. You know, this is gonna be the toughest love that you've ever felt. This love is gonna be tougher than a well-done steak. You need to stop podcasting, bro. I'm sorry. Never in my life have I ever thought about my mom having good sexual experiences. Y'all are just odd human beings. What even sparks this conversation? Like, how do you even get to this point? And why was this video even uploaded to the masses, bro?
Everybody's trying to go viral. Ain't trying to get clips that make them blow up. Everybody is harshly addicted to adult content to the point where everything is sexualized, no matter
what it is.
To the point where like even food, like TikTok, there's that whole trend now where they just took Cornstar's audio and they just show food and then the audio is just playing in the background while the person's like dunking the food inside like salsa. And it's somebody getting a cheese clapped. It's like, bro, it's to the point where we have taken sexualization so far that it's like we don't even know how to have normal conversations without it going that route.
We need to start telling people no more often. You know what, man? I'm thinking about starting a podcast. No, bro, put the mic down. At this point, it needs to be easier to buy an RPG from a gun store than it is to buy a microphone from Best Buy. Because I promise you, if there were background checks for mics, we would be nowhere near this point. It feels like everyone has a podcast nowadays. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. NBA players, rappers, children. The Hawk Tua girl just started a podcast called Talk Tua. Don't get me wrong, shout out to her for running up a bag off that one phrase, you know? I saw that she got $30K for popping out to a club a few weeks ago. Like, kudos to her, you know? I'ma clap it up for her. But why would I want to hear that woman speak for 2 hours straight each week about current events in her life? I mean, for crying out loud, she got famous for talking about how she spits on the pee-pee. Why am I supposed to care about what this woman has to say? Does she really need a podcast for saying "Hawk to" and spit on that thing? Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's what the masses want,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the masses get. Like, it's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get mad because certain people are viral and certain people are famous and they're celebrities off of the stupidest things. You did it. You did it. You engaged into it. You participated in it. You endorsed it. You sponsored it. You shared it. You liked it. You did it. Be mad at yourself. They're getting money off of you. Be mad at yourself.
The world could go without a podcast from this woman. You know what? Maybe I'm just hating, you know? Maybe, why don't I just check out one episode?
Can't do it as good as
Do
Haley.
it.
You do it.
No, you do it.
Hot to.
There you go.
You gotta put like an emphasis on it, like "tuh," you know, like really, yeah. Say it, all right, all together.
Hot to.
Hot,
To. Hot to.
say it aggressive.
Sound like you trying to cuff up Slim.
After watching one episode of the Talk to a podcast, I wanted to announce that I am quitting YouTube and becoming a full-time neurosurgeon, astronaut, and monk, all because of this podcast. This is one of the most enlightening podcasts that I have ever watched, and I just wanted to say thank you, Hawk Tua girl, for opening my third eye and helping me evolve as a human being with your phenomenal podcast. I really appreciate you. All jokes aside, no hate to her. She's just capitalizing off her opportunity like any other human being would in her position. But overall, I just don't think there's anything really interesting about this woman that sets her apart from all these other podcasts.
Female making sexual innuendos about her man, and then virality. She's been put on everything now. She's going to football games talking about Hawk 2 on that football. Like, it's just like, that's the thing is, everybody's attention span is so trash nowadays.
You know who I also thought of? What's a girl named Bobby?
Bobby Altov?
Yeah. How did she become viral?
Funny Marco. I think. She already had a podcast, but Funny Marco like threw her into the next level.
Podcast out there. Yeah, she may be able to get some great guests on there because the podcast is connected to Better, which is a sports media company co-owned by Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, like, the guests can only carry her so far, you know? Like I said, there's not much interesting about this woman. She got famous for saying how she spits on the nutsack, you feel me? But like I said, she's just capitalizing off of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Podcasts, after all, aren't the hardest thing to do. Podcasting is one of those things that I believe is easy to start, but hard to master. The bare minimum is to get a few mics, sit down with some friends, record, chat for a little bit, and boom, you got a podcast. Like, it's not that hard. And if you already have an audience, it makes creating a podcast even easier. Because if the audience you've garnered cares to watch you for like maybe a few seconds or a few minutes each day, they'll for sure listen to you talk for about 2 hours each week. So it makes sense to why so many people are starting podcasts nowadays.
Plus, a lot of people are in these warehouses and stuff working these 12, 14-hour shifts. And so you just need something background chattery to like get you to the next day. Like, I know a lot of times, like when I'm editing videos and stuff, or like I'm working on something, I have to have something going on in the background to kind of like set the atmosphere of my work. The problem is now is everybody wants to do podcasting. It is the easiest form of content, but which is ironic because we do reactions and people think that's easy when I assure you, it's not as easy as people make it out to be. But I will say I've had an easier time doing the podcast stuff on this channel than doing the reaction stuff on this channel. Because with the podcast stuff, I don't have to worry about all the restrictions that come with it. I don't have to worry about keeping the attention span because people are genuinely clicking on it just to click on it. You get what I'm saying? But I am curious about one thing though. What is her podcast called? The Talk to Her?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gave her, bro. Y'all gave her 188,000 people on this channel.
Click more. Because how long has the channel even been there?
Since August 20th. Y'all have given her 188K since August 20th. And she's hitting 200. This is 200,000 people watching the girl just talk about whatever. Playboy versus OnlyFans. Really? I have a boyfriend. Hate me or love me. Like,
What's the craziest thing you've seen her do?
I went to a mental hospital instead of rehab.
I think Helen Keller is not real.
Oh.
oh. All right. Okay. All right.
But like the title says, not everyone needs one. While some of them are good, some just feel like people talking just to talk. Like, I wouldn't even call some people's podcast a podcast. I'd rather call it mic terrorism. The other day, I saw a podcast clip of two dudes talking about lefty loosey, righty tighty being the greatest invention of all time.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty is like the craziest invention of man. I use that all the time. The saying lefty loosey, righty tighty. We just got a new machine. Okay. It's like it's called an articulating log loader.
Yeah, what?
It sounds like my toilet paper.
Yeah.
There's forks like this that picks up a log and then it can open and close on it, and the left button opens it and the right button closes it. And I literally say to myself, I'm like, lefty loosey, righty tighty when I need to let go or grab on. It's the lefty loosey. I might get that tattooed on myself.
Like, no offense to the
Oh my goodness.
Some of y'all parents was never like involved with y'all. Like that's all that really tells me. If I ever told my mom I wanted to start something called, like, if I wanted to tattoo my wrist with lefty loosey, righty tighty, my mom would probably throw me down some stairs or something, dude. Cause it's just like my mom put too much time, money, and effort into my education for me to just start doing crap like that. But it just shows a lot of y'all are tablet babies, bro. Yeah, y'all are tablet babies, bro. And it's really scary, bro. Because people are born in like 2000, 2010s now. The tablet babies are cooked, man.
Yeah.
these two dudes at all because they're probably great people. I could probably sit down, chop it up with them, eat a steak, and just vibe out with these dudes. But there's gotta be something way more interesting to talk about than a saying used for when you're screwing something in. Like, what's next? Are we gonna talk about bunny ears being the best method to tie your shoes? Or maybe even schist being the best rock there is? This conversation just feels so bland and pointless. Like, if an alien were to imagine two human beings talking, I'm pretty sure it'd think of this AI generated ass convo right here. Like, this is the product of podcasts being so easy to start up. We now have dudes talking about screwing mechanisms as a topic of interest. Like, I don't think every conversation has to be important in a podcast, but there's no way that these dudes copped some premium podcast mics, got the setup and everything just to talk about lefty loosey, righty tighty. This podcast just has no meaning at all. It's just yip and yap going back and forth about nothing. I swear these podcasts just get worse and worse, bro. Like, there's just too many podcasts now, and what more is there really to talk about? We gotta sit here and like just think for a second. What more is there really to talk about?
Now, I will say this, there are some really good podcasts. Now, my hatred towards podcasts is only specific towards
a certain genre.
And it's the men, we need to fight women, and women, we need to fight men. Because they create this environment of the most biased, unself-reflecting energies that go on these podcasts, and it is so sad how many people just like spoon feed themselves this. Like, one dude was like, yeah man, all women, like women, we can't trust women to make decisions out here. You know, women can't even do anything without us being here on the planet. They need us. It's like, do you know how many like achievements women have had in the medical field? Do you know how many like single mothers actually raise successful children and stuff like that? And then you hear on the other side of like, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man to do 50-50 with me. I can pay 100% of my bills by myself. What do I need a man for? And it's like, paying 100% of your bills by yourself is not a better solution than you and a partner sharing bills. Like, you guys have relationships so backwards nowadays. But it's just like, y'all will say this stuff and then be alone and single for 10 years and blame the whole world on why you haven't found Mr. Right. But then y'all will sit there and listen to these podcasts of people who have never had a successful relationship teach you how to have a successful relationship. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's like me playing with Legos and I try to teach you how to be a dentist. Just because I put stuff together. Like, it's so stupid, bro.
Instead of having to get a degree for a job, people need to start getting a degree for a podcast. Like, let's just be real. Like, is there really a need for a podcast where frat dudes talk about Hawk Tua?
Bro, I don't know if you heard of the Hawk Tua girl.
Yeah.
Hawk Tua. Spit on that thing. Yeah.
Bro, that blew out of proportion. Like, I low-key think it got too big.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen the clip, but good for her, I guess. I don't know.
No, like, it's everywhere. Dude, even at, like, Old Town, you'll hear Hawk Tua remixes.
Really?
Yes.
Bro, I think it's crazy that you can, like, do one little thing and a clip can go viral and then all of a sudden the next day you're, like, a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Yo, this guy in the comment section even gets it. This man said podcast equipment should cost $1 billion. I totally agree. I'm not gonna lie, like, no offense to these dudes, probably some great people, but I'd rather drag my balls through the hot Sahara Desert than listen to these frat dudes talk for 2 hours straight. You best believe I'm serving a life sentence before I listen to Jimmy and Tom from the Beta Theta Sigma frat talk on a pod.
My man said Beta Theta. They're about to come for you, bro.
Beta Theta Sigma frat. What was that, BTS? He said BTS.
Serving a life sentence before I listen to Jimmy and Tom from the Beta Theta Sigma frat talk on a podcast for 2 hours. Like, this podcast is just drier than a Popeye's biscuit. There is no energy at all to this conversation. And you may be thinking, like, bro, you can't judge off of just one clip of the podcast, you know? This is every clip.
What is your favorite frat?
I don't know. I like how big SAE's parties are and like Lambda, but like I think ASIG just threw a really cool party. So
I heard, dude.
Yeah.
Kyle was just on it. He's an ASIG.
Yeah. It was a really good party.
This podcast just sucks. This convo just sounds so generic and bland. No energy at all. Just, what's your favorite frat? I like SAA. They're big. Oh my God. I heard Kyle's there. Like, get this off the airways, bruh. Like, what did Joe Budden say?
That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
I genuinely wish.
Peace. That's peace. And I think
it's too stupid.
And I think the thing that people don't realize is, like, a lot of these podcasts, you guys get on there and you guys treat it like it's an everyday cup of coffee type of conversation. You feel me? And the thing is, you're trying to provide entertainment. You get me? I think the only time people can have those dry, dull conversations is if you're teaching somebody something that, like, is mind-blowing to back up for it.
Well, it's like radio conversation.
Like, imagine if we did reactions and I just talk like this for the whole time. Like, you guys know that I really like how Arlette she had those people pop that balloon, and I just feel like maybe contestant number. You don't even want to hear it for 10 seconds.
No. I didn't even want to hear it when you started it. No.
It's lame. It's whack, right?
Not lame. Yes, lame.
I could take back the few seconds of my life I wasted watching that podcast clip, because now I just feel 10x dumber than what I was before. I feel like one of the keys to a great podcast is an entertaining host, because there's going to be boring parts to a podcast, and it's up to the host to make that podcast interesting when it's getting dry. But the problem with this podcast is that the host has the personality of a raw chicken wing. So when he talks about boring topics and he's also boring, that just makes the podcast 10 times times more boring. Another problem with everyone starting a podcast is that some people don't believe that they need to do proper research before they record. Like a little bit ago on Twitch, there was this streamer named Jason the Ween who hit 100,000 subscribers, you know? He was number 2 on Twitch for his amount of subscribers in that month. And then there was this shitty TikTok podcast called the 949 podcast that decided to give their opinion on the whole situation. And note, they're not really knowledgeable when it comes to this whole streaming space. So this was their take.
Streaming is the new wave. It's
It is.
Yeah. It's just, but the thing is, it's the new wave because of clips.
Exactly.
Like Jason the Ween, guess how many live viewers he has? Just guess.
Depends on the time.
Just guess.
Like
you guys
5K?
guess. Well, how many live viewers do you think he got?
Like 3K?
3K. So like he's like a number 2, or I guess like, well, he has like around 15 to 20.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
But
pretty
But to
good.
think about it, like that's not that good in terms of like views.
That's
What the freak are you talking about? Views and live views are two different
things, bro.
You get more money with live views than you do regular views. What are you talking about?
Bro.
Because live views, people are always constantly donating, and then they're always exchanging their points.
They're chatting, they're boosting your algorithm, they're doing all this thing. And that's just, if we had on our videos where we get like 3K, if we had 3K live viewers, boy.
I feel like it's good for live.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's good for live, but think about the people in the world. It's only 15K.
15K, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Streaming is not like a mainstream thing yet. It's only mainstream because of the clips that they put out after.
Yeah,
Which
right.
get millions and millions of views.
Right.
But no one's actually watching that shit live.
Yeah. No, literally, bro.
There's a few things that piss me off about this dookie TikTok podcast. Number 1, this man is saying streaming is only big because of clips. Yeah, because nobody's gonna sit there and watch an 8-hour stream front to back, you idiot. So to make it more digestible for the average viewer, streamers and their audiences make clips so that more people can see their streams. What's so bad about that? Another thing this man says is 15K live viewers isn't good views because the clips get millions of views. That's how the internet works. And 15K is good because it puts him in the top 0.1% of streamers. Like, why is it surprising that a live stream has less views than a TikTok video? Are we becoming this slow in society where we can't comprehend that a live stream that you have to watch live has less views than a video where you can watch whenever? This dude...
No, it's people that don't create content talking about content. People that don't stream talking about stream. People that don't do YouTube talking about YouTube. Buddy that said, oh, your channel didn't blow up because you're not at 250,000 with a plaque.
The channel.
I'm gonna spare you because I know, like, common sense is not very common nowadays.
So let me give you all the breakdown of this channel, right? Alex's first appearance on the channel was in like February or March.
February.
It was in February where we did our first Pop the Balloon. And our channel was at 128 subscribers. Because I was just making small little throwaway content. I was focused on Instagram. We did that reaction in February. And as of November now, we're at like almost 60K. I don't know if you guys, like a lot of people, I don't know if you guys see these TikTok. Let me tell y'all, if you think that Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch are easier to grow on than YouTube. Well, maybe not Twitch. I'll take Twitch out. Streaming is harder. Streaming is for sure harder. Streaming is for sure harder. We're going to take streaming out. But TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are not as hard to grow on as YouTube. And and I can say this because I've done it. I've had a successful TikTok. I've had a successful Instagram. And it only took me a month to do both of those. YouTube is for like it's way harder. It's way harder. I can make Alex a viral TikTok page right now because the technique is very easy on TikTok. The reason why I don't like TikTok is because TikTok you feel me?
who knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he has a mic in his face with the cameras on. This podcast just sounds like one huge gossip session. That's the problem with a lot of these podcasts. Some of them are just gossip sessions. Another situation of a podcast host not knowing what they're talking about is this one right here. So a little bit ago, there was a situation with KiteZz, right? He had a cameraman that was talking to an underage girl, and this podcast decided to put out their take on it because, hey, it was a fresh topic. Why don't we say something about it, you know? Why don't we do it for the clicks and engagement? And this is what they had to say.
KiteZz, everybody can't go. You need to start looking around. And I know, like, black people specifically, when you get some success, you want to bring everybody with you, but you got to be able to kind of weed that shit out. I shouldn't know who Chris V is. I shouldn't know who Chris Next Door is.
But Chris Next Door is literally an AMP member. What do you
And I get what Kameron is saying. Like, if you're gonna talk about a topic,
do
your research. That's with anything. If you're gonna write an essay, what you gotta do? You gotta do research on the topic that you're gonna be talking about.
Mm-hmm. That's why I love reactions, because I don't have the time. I don't have the time, nor do I have the interest to like study people, because I don't really care, right? Reactions are beautiful for me is because all of my opinions and my takes are based off of what I'm just seeing right in front of me.
Not what happens after, not what happens before.
Exactly.
What's happening right now,
in front of me.
Right in front of you.
I have to react to stuff that I am visually seeing. Meaning I don't need to, if somebody comes in, you guys should really be more informed on, shut up. I don't need to be informed about anything. I'm reacting to the video.
Shut up is crazy.
Now, if you want to, no, it's some people need to be told, like, and Lord, forgive me if that's offensive, but I'm saying, like, stop trying to tell me how, like, what, like, I'm watching if I'm watching his video, if somebody from any of these podcasts comes to our chat and is like, you guys are just talking crap about a podcast you don't know. No, I'm talking about the stuff I've seen on the video. I don't care about the podcast.
And I think too, people don't realize with reactions, we don't watch the video then react to it.
Exactly.
We watch the video and
it's
like
blind
live,
blind reactions.
People that do that, they're just, and then everything be super extra. They've already watched the video.
Yep.
You shouldn't know who he is.
I should know who KiteZz is because you are the driving force in it, but them I shouldn't even know who they are.
I think it's important to highlight that Chris Next Door is an AMP member. If you guys don't know what AMP is, that is KiteZz's group.
That's the problem. KiteZz shouldn't have a group.
KiteZz joined the group before he became this huge mega streaming machine. This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he's on.
Bro, this is 2 generations after you, bro. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
And KiteZz would not be as big as KiteZz is without AMP.
That goes for all of them.
Yeah. And people don't know. Phantom put people on. They all were successful streamers, but Phantom starting AMP pushed them to that next, like, that level, bro. KiteZz would not be as big as he is without AMP.
That's like saying, oh, Mark, he needs to leave everybody else in RDC. And we don't need to know who those other dudes are.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
One of the most important members of RDC is the person that you don't even see on the camera, Av. Af and Mark started RDC, but Af is rarely on the camera.
On a podcast.
That's how they got on.
Yeah. Having a team and making it with your team is very important, but if there are problematic people in there, kick them out immediately.
But you gotta know when you are the one, like he is the one. I get it.
So he should abandon everybody?
Yes.
He did not do this alone. Like, there was a journey of a camp of them.
They came together.
And I agree, like, this problematic person, this person that was underage girls, he has to go. Like, bye, we're never speaking to you, cut ties.
Now that we are here and it's the second, third, however many times something like this has happened, what does he do moving forward? Because now it can't keep happening. You have to insulate yourself, because at the end of the day, that group doesn't mean anything without him.
That is cap.
Your main character talking real heavy right now.
Bro, Some people, man.
Because everyone actually grew themselves before they were in AMP. That's why it worked so well as a group, because everyone had their own platform before joining. Except for Chris. He kind of created his platform after, but he was still pretty known. But this guy just knows nothing about what he's talking about. And this is my problem with so many of these podcasts. Like, if you're gonna put out a statement on any current topic, you gotta do the research to back it up. You're gonna end up looking like an idiot. You can't just go in willy-nilly on something that you know nothing about. That's why a lot of bigger podcasts like Joe Rogan have someone who can fact check, which is Jamie on his podcast. And if you can't afford someone to be in that spot, you should just look it up yourself before you put out this idiotic take on something you know nothing about. Like, there's a difference between a hot take and just a bad and uneducated take. And this right here is what I consider an uneducated take, because he just lacks the knowledge on what he's talking about. I like how some people on the podcast are like trying to tell him like, yo, it's not like this, it's kind of like this, but he just doesn't want to listen. He just decides to be ignorant. I swear some people just get a mic in their face and their brains just go to mush. They don't know what they're talking about. I seen a dude the other day talking about how you need to stop wearing Nike socks with shoes for no reason at all, just because he said so.
Stop wearing Nike socks with shoes, bro. Or a designer shoe. Even if you wear Nike socks with some Air Force Ones, just stop doing that, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I just can't see nobody wear no Nike socks with a pair of shoes, bro. Like, what are you doing? I think that's crazy.
What you wear the socks with then? What you wear them with then? What are you wearing with?
He's like the opposite of me. How I'm like, stop wearing shoes without socks. He's like, stop wearing socks with your shoes.
But he's saying Nike socks specifically. Why? What?
Buddy's a Reebok. He's a Reebok stan, bro.
Don't be telling people what to do with their stuff, what they pay for. If I'm gonna give you some Nike socks, I'm gonna wear them with some Gucci shoes, some Payless shoes, some Macy shoes. I'm gonna wear whatever I want to. I'll wear them outside. What's wrong with you? Stop wearing them with shoes. That's what socks are for. Put them on your feet and put the shoe on.
Stop wearing sunglasses in the sunlight. Stop wearing sunglasses in the sunlight.
What's that thing you get cataracts?
Socks have to do with anything on your fit. I understand if somebody says stop wearing a Nike shirt with Adidas pants, like that does kind of make sense, but stop wearing Nike socks with shoes? Why? Why don't you tell us why? Why? I think people got to realize it's fine to have conversations without them being recorded. You know, we need to start stripping cameras and microphones away from society. Everyone has a voice, but not everyone's voice needs to be heard. And since this is a video about podcasts, there's another thing I got to get on my chest, bro. Alpha male podcast. This podcast format honestly just needs to retire, bro. Like, when I tell you, these podcasts are one of the worst things to ever hit the internet, because after these podcasts hit, all people would argue about is who was worse, women or men. I hate this whole argument, because can we all just agree that men do bad things and so do women? Men.
Thank you. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And I think the scariest thing about the alpha male podcast, or even like I don't know what the female version is called, but it's like,
is it like Pink Podcasts?
I don't know what the heck it's called.
I don't know.
It's called all types of different stuff.
It's the Pink Pill, I think.
But it's like it's so easy to brainwash and manipulate people into thinking one specific way. Like the Fresh and Fit, that whole era, that was crazy.
You want to know the technique to it? Get somebody who is morally wrong, who does something that everybody deems shameful, and who clearly has a disregard for information, and then put them on a panel with somebody who has at least basic level information about what they're talking about. That's how they get it. They get a whole bunch of these OnlyFans chicks who have made millions of dollars or thousands of dollars by selling their body, and then they get them on here and have a dude talk about politics with them.
And sometimes they don't even, sometimes they'll get women on there. Like, there was one, I think she's like it's Tay Tay Baby or something like that. And she's like a Muay Thai fighter or something like that. And they'll have women that are like the complete opposite of what they want on the show. And they'll be mad because those women have morals. It just doesn't make sense. And people are bashing the women that have morals and beliefs and values in certain things. And then it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
lie and women lie. Are we done now? Like, I hate this whole format of podcasts. But yeah, not everyone should have a podcast. Don't just think because you have one good conversation with your homie that you now need this full Joe Rogan podcast setup. No, you don't need that at all. You don't even need a podcast, bro. What you need is a muzzle. But all that being said, this is gonna wrap up the video. If you guys made this far, I appreciate you. Twitch Kameron WAK, Discord link in the description. If you guys enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend you guys check out my most recent video. It'll be right up here on the screen. All that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's Kameron, and I'm out.
Hey, shout out to Kameron, man. That's a W video.
Yeah, please stop making all these podcasts.
I think we need more podcasts dedicated towards understanding mental health, breaking generational traumas, teaching people financial literacy that is not only residing in real estate.
You know, it's sad because those podcasts that you named, they're out there.
Yeah.
They're just not mainstream because they don't have viral takes and clips about certain things. And even then, you can have a viral moment in those topics that you're talking about. But if it doesn't look a certain way, then people aren't going to really flock to it.
Right. All right, y'all. Peace.